Hello everyone, Max here, Muscle World. I'm here today and I am answering your questions. So today I've had a question from Sohail Khan. He's asked me a couple of times, he wants to know how to use push-ups for massive strength. He's asked me this a couple of times in comments on my videos, so thanks for your patience. Here is the answer. I might refer to push-ups as press-ups in this video purely because that's just how I've always called them. But if I say press-ups, I mean push-ups, okay? If you were looking to specifically get stronger and increase your strength and pushing power, I would advise you to consider, along with push-ups, performing exercises such as bench press and or weighted dips. The reason why I say that is because I believe you'll be missing out on some additional strength gains if you are not using these exercises. However, if for some reason you are dead against doing those exercises, or you're just physically not able to do those exercises for whatever reason, that's fine. I'll tell you how you can increase your strength using just press-ups. I did quite a lot of videos on press-ups a few years back. They are a great exercise, brilliant exercise, but they're primarily, once you get good at them, they're more for muscular endurance rather than muscular strength. And you will find that once you do push-ups or press-ups, once you start doing them and you actually get good at them and you're able to do more than say 20, 30, good quality full range of motion, that's all the way down, chest to the floor, fully extending the arms, nice and controlled. When you're in control of your body weight, then once you get 20, 30 reps, no problem, you're gonna have to start changing things up a little bit, because just by increasing the repetitions will not necessarily get you much stronger. It'll be a case of diminishing returns. You will get more muscular endurance. You'll be able to do more repetitions for longer, and there is some benefit for doing that, but you've asked for strength specifically. It would be advisable then, once you've reached that point, to make the press-ups a little bit harder, but keep the rep ranges lower, as in below 20 repetitions. So once you've reached that stage then, a couple of options you can do. Loads of different options you can do. You can consider adding weight to your press-ups, so you get a backpack, but a little bit of weight in there, and you can perform the press-ups with additional resistance. Put a resistance band around your back and perform the exercise with the press-ups like that. Add that extra resistance. You can perform press-ups with your feet elevated. If you imagine the press-up position, there's the ground there, it's flat ground, all right? So there's you doing your press-ups. Terrible picture, I know. There's you doing your press-ups. So in that position, here for your upper body, you are lifting 64% of your body weight. Elevate your feet on something. So say up here, you've got something, some kind of bench, and your feet are elevated. So you're doing your press-ups now with your feet higher than your hands. You'll be able to bump that up to around 75% of your body weight. So if you imagine then you are weighing 100 kilograms, for example, you're lifting 11 kilograms more force of your body weight due to the distribution of weight, because your feet are elevated. There's more weight coming down the floor as opposed to your weight being distributed between your upper body and your feet. Now that will work as a kind of progressive overload for a small amount of time. However, at some point you will reach a point where that becomes easy for you, because it would just be like adding an extra 10 kilograms onto your weight. So once you've reached that stage, then you're going to have to make things a little bit more challenging. There are 3 things that you have control of that you can use to increase the intensity of an exercise to get stronger. The first one of them is the weight. So that would be, say, if you were looking to increase weight, you could progressively overload by adding a little bit more weight each time. But based on what you are asking, your weight is going to be staying the same. And that is because you're just using your body weight. So that means we're going to have to put a big line through that. But that's not a problem, because there are 2 other things that we can do to increase the intensity of this exercise whilst the weight remains the same. And the second one of this, so the second key thing we've got control of is the leverage. So if we go back to the last scenario, because of the levers, the angle of the body, we've been able to increase the intensity because there's more weight applied. If you imagine if I were to do a pull-up like that, I could lift my body weight no problem. But if I were to try and do an iron cross, like gymnasts do, I'm going to struggle with that. Even though my body weight staying the same, the leverage applied is significantly greater in those positions. I'm putting my body through a mechanical disadvantage to make the exercise harder and therefore put more strain on the actual muscles. The third option we've got is stability. Or should I say lack of stability. We can decrease the stability. If you are performing a press up on an unstable object, something that's moving, such as a gymnastic ring, they're moving around, you've got to be working that a little bit harder, or in some cases a lot harder, just to perform those press ups. I can guarantee if I said to you, right, let's do a set of dips on the bars, and then you might, and I say, come on, let's try and do the same set of dips on gymnastic rings, I can tell you, you will not be able to do half as many on the rings without any kind of training for it. Eventually you get better because your body is getting stronger and your muscles are getting more challenged because they're having to learn to stabilize and keep everything in place. With that in mind, you need to learn and look at different exercises. Rather than me just shouting out a load of different exercises, I would rather you consider what you can do, because you need to constantly be progressing. You need to be constantly making these exercises harder. And that means you need to play about with the leverage by making it more challenging for the target muscles, which in your case could be the chest, the triceps. So I would say elevating the feet. You could perform exercises one arm out to the side, the archer press up for example, but more strain. You could decrease the stability by doing it on, say, an exercise ball. It's going to wobble around, gymnastic rings. Or you could even combine the two and perform exercises like one arm press ups, but one arm press ups performed correctly by trying to ensure that your shoulders and your hips are parallel to the floor at all times and you're getting that full range of motion. It's very important that you keep the whole body parallel to the floor. The closer your feet are together will have a massive impact on how many you're going to be able to do. You could even take one foot off the floor and perform a one arm, one leg press up. It's going to make it more challenging for these two reasons here. So anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it's kind of empowered you to find your own ways of increasing your exercises and making them more challenging. Press ups are a great exercise, really good kind of foundation exercise that you can use to build upon. If you want to get stronger, keep them as your foundation, build a solid foundation. Once you can do 20 or 30, no problem. It's strength you are after rather than muscular endurance, then you need to consider making the presser harder. Through leverage, through adding instability to make the exercise more difficult, you then progress to something a little bit more challenging. So you don't jump up, you don't just suddenly go, right, I'm doing 20 normal press ups, I'm going to suddenly try and do 20 one arm leg presses whilst on the rings. No, that's going to be towards the end. So you need to look at a long game here. So the strategy is you gradually make it harder. Set a goal, 20 press ups. Once you've reached that goal, 20 elevated press ups with your feet elevated, and you can play about with that incline to make it more challenging. That's when you can add instability. Then you can start looking at performing one arm press ups, keeping the reps low. Keep doing your normal press ups, you do warm up exercises. You're performing exercises with one leg off the floor, as in like a mountain climber press up. So the way you do that is you lower yourself down, take one foot off the floor and drive up. So you perform each exercise, then once you've kind of introduced the new exercise, the harder exercise, you practice that and you keep doing it until you can reach, say again, 20 repetitions of that exercise. Once you've reached 20 repetitions, then you move on to the next one. You can repeat the whole process. And it doesn't necessarily mean you've got to forget about the previous exercises, because you can use it as a pyramid set where you build up to it. So you can start off set one, for example, set of 20, 30 press ups. Next exercise, then you can move to the next version of 10, 15, 20 repetitions, and you can gradually decrease the repetitions as the exercise gets harder, but over time increase repetitions and have that cut-off point of, let's say, 20 repetitions, a very good cut-off point for you to then progress or transition to the next exercise. Like you are, imagine once you get to 20, you're graduating, you've learned that exercise, you've conquered that exercise, you've earned the right then to step on to the next exercise, and then that is when you're going to start seeing results over time. You keep using this method, and once you've graduated, then you enroll on another course of press-ups to get yourself there and get yourself done and achieve your goals. Thank you very much for the question. Thank you very much for watching. maxlover.com for coaching inquiries and training programs. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification so you don't miss a video. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.